let it connect. And the last time it said it was preparing to stream, it was already streaming. So let's see. Alrighty, so while we're doing that, I am going to open up the presentation. Let it connect. Oh, there it is. Oh, hold on. That's right. I have to mute it. The last time. Okay. And now this part. Present. Oh, wait. Share. I am off my game today. This one. Alrighty. Y'all see that? Okay. All right. So today I wanted to go over unconventional partying because I feel like a lot of times we feel pressured to be in this little box of book a party, book a party, book a party. And even our SSD today went live on the leadership page. And that's the same thing she said, book a party, book a party, book a party. And for most people, booking parties mean going on Facebook, telling somebody you want to book a party, create a group, and it's just like your launch party, right? Except somebody else is hosting it. So now we're creating a group, we're inviting all these friends in, and then we go like boom, 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 and we start posting all these different things. We go live, we present things, we share Scentsy, and we share our products and tell them how great our stuff smells. And then people start just buying. And then we have our traditional way, which is doing home parties. But there's so many unconventional ways that we can also party that I wanted to just kind of bring this to light. And I will tell you that in the last year and a half that I've been doing Scentsy, and I am at this point $31,000 in total sales for Scentsy. So it's a lot of sales. But in the last year and a half that I've been doing Scentsy, I've partied one time. Party, like party the way that our SSD Chloe Cox would party the way that Courtney would tell us to party. And the reason why I say that is because I keep thinking we're supposed to sit in this tiny little box that says, okay, book a Facebook party and start posting to Facebook and do it in a group format. And that's not actually the case. And so I wanted to bring to your attention, I party all the time. Every time I close out a party, there are orders attached to it and there are host credits attached to it and there's free Scentsy attached to it. I always have a party going, but I never do it in the traditional sense that we know of. Okay. So but they're right in the sense that we have to party in order to meet to do other things. So why should I party? Because you want to increase your PRV. The only way to make more money is to sell more Scentsy, right? And you want to increase your team in order to meet more people who are potential Scentsy team members is by meeting them at parties. So instead of just looking within your close circle of friends and family, this is another way for you to meet new people and potentially bring a team member on from all these different events that you might be doing. And it increase your circle base, right? So the first thing that the troubles that I had when I started was not having a large friend group. Like I take great pride in keeping my friend group very small and intimate because I don't believe in a million friends that I never speak to. I believe in like true hard, pure friendships and relationships that I form with people. So my circle is very small, like maybe on a regular basis, I talk to 5 people, but then everybody else is just like somebody on social media that I connected with. I used to go to elementary school with, middle school, high school, and so like those people, yeah, we're like tapping into each other's lives, but we don't talk like that. And they're not somebody I would feel comfortable with just sending them a message and saying, hey, support my Scentsy business, and so increasing your circle through partying is a great way to do that, because then you've already got somebody who came to you with an interest in potentially buying or joining Scentsy. So there's so many reasons to party, but increasing your PRV is number one. But within that same opportunity, you might have a team member and you will potentially grow new VIPs for life out of that. So if you treat them well, they're going to keep coming back to you. I've had people leave other consultants before to come to me because they love the way I treated them. So, this is where you get to shine and show your customer service and show them why you're better than the 1 million other consultants that there are. So who can be a host? The first thing we do when we're brand new is we tap into our friends and family members, right? So our family usually are the first ones, and sometimes not so much. There are situations where, I've said this before on another training. I have two brothers, and not a single one of them has ever purchased Scentsy from me, and I post like crazy. And if you ladies are following my different social medias, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or just reading my stories from time to time, I post like crazy, and there's no reason why my brothers have never seen it, and they just don't want to support. And I tried to tell them there's stuff for guys, there's stuff for their girlfriends and their wives, and they just don't care. So, sometimes family are not your biggest supporters. Whereas my mother-in-law has purchased all kinds of stuff from me. Like every time something new comes out, she wants it. So it just, depends on who in your family circle are going to support you. My cousin supported me and was the reason why I hit shooting star right off the bat. And then she was also the first one of my first team members to join under me. So, it's just, you never know. Then you have your friends, and then you have family of your friends. So maybe it's your best friend, or maybe it's, your childhood friend, or maybe it's your high school sweetheart, but their family members might be purchasing from you as well. And then friends of friends. So, one girlfriend brings in another friend of hers from work or from her church. And then your social media followers. And a few of you guys Lindsay's really good at this. Lindsay came with like already a following. And there's a few other team members who comes with like a huge already following from something else they've done on social media. And so that gives you a good start. But it's not a sustainable start. It's not always sustainable either, because down the line, you want to continue to expand that circle. Because I could only sell to my friends and family so much, right? After I sold them a warmer and 6 wax bars, and maybe sold them a second warmer and another 6 wax bars, they kind of got like Scentsied out. So, they're not as crazy about Scentsy as you and I are, where we're going to keep buying and we want to keep replacing different warmers and changing it out with the season. They're not that crazy, it's just us. So it's like, okay, so how can I now sell? I just sold $50 to Jasmine. And then, next month I'm going to sell her another $50 worth because she wants that new warmer that just came out. But am I going to keep coming back to Jasmine every single month for the next 12 months to sell to her? Like, likely she's going to get tired of me. So that's where we have to expand our circle. And these people are the ones that can be your hosts. And then there's always you. So I always open a new party as soon as I close one party and put myself as a host, because you can always come back and edit that later. So I always put myself down as a host. And if I have an eligible party and somebody reaches out and says, hey, I really want to start Scentsy, but I don't have money to join, how can I do this? I switch the names over to them. Lindsay, you're one of them. Brianne, you're one of them. You ladies were on an opportunity that I had to be able to close out a party, but I switched the names over to you so that you could be host and get that starter kit. So, start off with you, and then you can always switch it later too. But don't switch it in the sense that, like, if we're flipping a party or something later on, that's more technical. If anybody ever wants to throw a party and then you want to flip the party to them, that's a completely different beast that we can talk about later. Any questions so far? What are some difficulties and challenges that you're finding? Because all of you are relatively, well, Lizzie, you've been here the longest at this point. So out of all of us, not all of us, but all of the others, what are some challenges you've had, Lizzie, like now, since you've done it for so long? And then Brianne and Lindsay, if you want to share your newbie challenges.
So for like, when I first started, like the first, how many months has it been now? August. For the first like 4 months, I had a couple people that would purchase from me every month. And they're kind of getting like tired, because they bought so many wax bars and all this. But now, like, since I have the pretty good following on my Instagram, I'm really getting pretty good amount of purchases through my Instagram, random people. Like, social media to have is really helpful if you keep like working on it, consistently posting on TikTok, social media. I have one random person purchase from me on TikTok now. And like, I'd say 5 or 6 from Instagram. So, but the first off, I really am struggling with like family members who had purchased from me like first 4 months when I started out. They're kind of like dying out now. But I'm mainly regaining with random people from social media right now.
Nice, yeah. And Lizzie, I just wanted to mention too, the first training that we had speaking about social media, and you mentioned Snapchat being one of the go-tos that you use.
Yep.
I reignited my Snapchat, and because of that, I ended up gaining another VIP
Yay.
whose mom used to be a Scentsy consultant, but her mom stopped doing it. So she was like, well, I need a new Scentsy lady. And I saw you snap about it. And I was like, what? And like, even though she's my Facebook friend, she's my Instagram friend, like we're connected on all these social medias, but she saw it on Snapchat.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, okay, there's something here. And I keep forgetting about it. Like I've been posting to my stories, but I kept forgetting to post to Snapchat. I need to remember to like jump over there. So Brienne?
So I think one of my biggest challenges right now is just getting people to engage with my posts. I can see that they're seeing it, but they're not really reaching out or even engaging at all.
Yeah.
And then of course, just trying to build my circle and find more people is a struggle right now, but it's a little slower than I'd like, but we're getting there.
Well, you know what? You just hit active. That is a huge, and sometimes even hitting active in that first month has been a difficult thing for people. I mean, I've got some team members who have been on my team since May when there was like a discounted sign up, and they still have yet to do anything with their business. So the fact that you're trying and you're doing it, consistency is key, and you're going to hear that over and over, but we're going to continue to beat a dead horse, because that's what I've noticed. If I post and I can see that, 5 people viewed this, 15 people viewed this, and not a single person hit liked or anything like that, don't worry about that. Don't get caught up in that, because they're seeing you. I've had people come out of the woodworks and like came up to me at work and was like, Jasmine, I need to place an order. I saw that you posted that you talked about placing a local order this weekend. I need to get my order in. And I was like, we're friends on Instagram, and so the fact that they're watching and you don't realize they really are. So just don't let that put you down, and don't let that get to you, because they really truly are watching what you're doing. They're just one of those like snoopers, and they like silently scroll through things, but they're reading every single thing you're doing. So
Got it.
Lindsay, are you available to talk?
Yeah, I am. I just got you on like my consult because I had to go pick up my kids from their dads. But I did want to touch base on what Brienne said about her not getting any engagement in any of her posts. I don't have one person. Well, okay, I have Jasmine and then my closest guy friend who always interacts, always, hearts all of my stuff, but that's it. Like, I don't get people that sees my stuff and like be like, oh, hey, can I place an order this? And it's mostly people where I will follow up, because I got into this kind of routine where I will give the teachers gifts, and it can be at like the small scent circles that I gave my youngest, their teachers. I just gave it to them, and I see them every single day, and I just wanted to, brighten up their day for Valentine's Day. And I go back and I follow up with, hey, did you get, the scent circle? Or, hey, did you get my fragrance flower? How do you like it? Have you tried it? And I've been getting a lot of people that are like, oh my God, I love it. It made my, office smell so good. It made my car smell amazing. I'm wanting to place an order. And then I had one teacher at my older 2 kids' school that said, hey, I saw your post a couple weeks back, and I wanted to know if you still got that deal going on. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know which one, but I'll send you a couple of deals that I was going through a couple weeks ago, and you can tell me which one it was. And she, of course, didn't have any idea of what it was, but she's like, just give me your website and I'll check it out. And of course, most of these people are wondering and potentially going to get an order set up, but it's just me pretty much just going and giving these samples out, giving, this paperwork out, constantly posting, on my Facebook. I started a TikTok to make sure people knew what was happening. Even doing the Instagram stuff, like I was not tech savvy. And so I've learned how to work social media to where people can see it, they're viewing it. I know they're viewing it, but it's planting seeds into the future, because we're not in a marathon. I mean, we're not in a sprint or a race. It's a marathon. So we just got to keep it going. Don't get discouraged. And then just, eventually it's just going to blow up, because I didn't start with a very good family structure where everyone's like, oh, I'm going to buy just to support you. I didn't do that. I mean, I went head on and just decided, you know what? There's no other option for me. I'm just going to go ahead and start sampling out whatever I could to my closest, acquaintances, essentially.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for that. And Brianne, just to enlighten you, Lindsay started like a little bit before you did, just like a month before you did. So Lindsay, I think your start date was right after Christmas, right? Like 12/27.
It was at 20, I think it's the 28th.
Yeah. So she's just like a solid month plus right before you. So, and it's all about the follow-up too. And this is something Courtney said the other day that hit me hard, is she said, don't make samples and just let them sit there. She said, make samples and pass them out, because if you don't pass them out, they're not making money for you. And that's what a lot of the higher ranking SSDs will say is, you're making all this sample, you're doing all this work, but is it IPA? Is it income producing activity? And if you're not doing income producing activity, stop it. Like if you're making samples, but you're not handing it out and following up, then you're just wasting your time. You're just giving people free stuff. And so that was kind of like, it hit me hard, because there are times, I mean, I still have some Valentine stuff sitting around here, like there are times where I go through, I do all the sampling stuff, and then I don't have the time to send out happy mail, or I don't forget, like at work, I get so busy, I don't have time to like take a break and walk around and hand out samples to people who have purchased from me at work. And so it just like, yes, make samples. If you're going to do that, hand them out, all of it. And then if you're going to do that, follow up with every single person. And because that's what's going to lead us to those sales. So, and let me turn this down. Courtney's going crazy right now. And so that is incredibly important. So we went a little bit off topic, but that's what kind of leads into the hosting and everything else too. So, alrighty. So here I have, so what are different ways to party, right? And this is where I want us to think, unconventional. We have our home parties. Julie did one where it was a stop and shop. She set up her house. She had different things set up throughout her house, and people just walked through and then ordered what she had on hand. Scentsy will always tell you they don't want you to keep an inventory. So the best way to do is have your items on display and then talk to the catalog and have them order from the catalog. I think in her case, she had such a massive amount of people. She wanted to be ready. So she did it a little bit differently. But the best way to do it so that you don't end up with a ton of products is to have your own stuff on display and let people walk through and then explain to them what a standard warmer is, show them what a mini warmer is, and then let them look through the catalog and then speak to the catalog and let them purchase that way. Another one is a bingo event, which Brianne and I have spoken about. And Brianne has a great idea of bringing over, because she has, her population of potential customers are older, and then at the same time, I think Brianne, you were saying like, it's not just old and young. It's like a mix of everything, right? And I think you can never go wrong with bingo. You cannot charge them to come to the bingo. So you can't say $5 to enter bingo and then win Scentsy. You can't do that, but you can say, come on over for free. Let's have a bingo night. And then I'll share what Scentsy is with you. And then while you're pulling numbers for bingo in between, you're sharing Scentsy products. So you're showing them what a warmer is. You're demonstrating the diffuser. You're showing them what a mini warmer is. And then that way you're buying their time by holding them there with bingo, but at the same time, you're selling Scentsy. And then if you even add some booze to it, maybe you'll have a really good sale at the end. You just never know. And then there's hybrid parties. What did I mean by hybrid parties when I wrote this last night? I don't remember. Maybe it'll come back to me. Oh, we'll keep going. No, I don't remember. And then vendor events. Vendor events are not home parties, but they're at vendor events, right? So any type of farmers market or church events or anything like that, and they're selling a booth for $50, and you can come set up a table for $50. Those are great too. I've done them here in Miami. One night I got my first time ever. I got really, really lucky, and a sugar daddy came through and wanted to like impress his wife. And so he bought like almost $200 worth of stuff from me. And then he was asking, because I had like cake stands displaying the warmers, and he was asking like, is that for sale? Can I have that? I was like, well, it's not Scentsy and it's not for sale, but you can have it. Yeah, take it. So I was giving out cake stands with him. But it was hilarious because he was just like trying to impress his wife or his girl or whatever it was. And yeah, and he was going like crazy purchasing, not just for me, but everybody. So it was really fun. So yeah, vendor events could work out really, really well too. And if anything, if you're going to do a vendor event, and if you're going to do any of these events, I always say have some sort of follow-up system. So have them signed at my vendor event, I did a raffle ticket. So it was free for them to sign up for the raffle for me to gift like a letterboard warmer. And I had them write down their name and their email address and their phone number. And then they put it into my raffle box. And then I raffled from there. But what it did was it gave me their contact information so I can start emailing them afterwards. Or if I really wanted to be bold, I could call them and say, hi, I'm Jasmine from the vendor event the other night. I just wanted to follow up and see if you like enjoyed the samples I handed to you or something like that. So if you're going to hand out samples or do a raffle, always make them give you back their information. Them to sign up for, giving you their name and number and email is free, but you're also handing them in return. So that way you have like a handoff of, giving them samples, and they give you their contact information. Facebook parties. I think this is where we feel like we're being boxed in to one of these Facebook parties. And, I have thrown a total of one Facebook party that was like a complete flop. In fact, it was such a flop that the lady who hosted the Facebook party, I mean, she really did try to interact and everything, but I think she does this is like her side hustle is to do parties. And if she, gets something, she earns something. But I think this was kind of something that she does after I realized after the fact. But anyway, so it was such a flop that at the end, she saw me posting something. It was like one of the Harvest Clean bundles. And she reached out to me and she was like, I don't have money right now, but I really want that Harvest bundle. Do you think maybe you can grab it for me and I'll pay you when I get paid? So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And she wanted both. And so I ended up grabbing it for her, and then she didn't have money. So I was like, okay, just let me know, like it's sitting here, it's yours. And then she still didn't and then after like 2 weeks, she just ghosted me completely and never ever responded again and unfriended me and everything. So, that was my only attempt at a Facebook party. But every time I reach out to people are like, no, I don't know, my population of friends and my circle are the type of people who are like, here, just take my money for the fundraiser. Tell me how much to pay. Like they just don't want to put in that effort. And that's okay. That just means that I have to be creative. So there's a earn a kit party, which is anybody who reaches out to you and is interested in joining the team. You do an earn a kit party so that, they can earn their own consulting kit. That is a great way for you to get those PRVs, but in the end, you're going to have to flip that party for them. So that ended up happening with my most recent team member, Vanessa. She actually didn't start out with Earn a Kit. She just started out with a party, and because she wanted freebies and half off. And then when she reached $500 in 3 days, I was like, girlfriend, you can make $100 commission right now from this party, from this link that you just racked up $500 worth of sales. And so it was too good of an offer for her to refuse. So she took it, and so I flipped the party. So I ended up losing all $500 in purchases, but I gained a team member and she got the commission off of that instead. So, that's just like, for me, ethically what should be done. There are some consultants out there that won't do that, but that's what we should do. Because she did all the work, those were her friends and family. And then there's a mystery host party. And what this is actually a very unconventional way to do Facebook parties. It's basically your VIP group, and they make an order. And let's just say over the course of 2 weeks, they put orders in, and that party the party that you put your name down as host ended up getting to $200. Well, now you can just be like, okay, without them realizing it, you can say, all right, Brianne, Lindsay, Lizzie, guess what? I'm going to pick from the hat because the three of you got in an order, got like collectively an order that made at least $200. I have one half off gift to give, one half off item to give away. And then I put your three names in a hat because you didn't even realize it was happening. You were just making your Scentsy purchase. And then I put your name in the hat. And then one of you suddenly now have a half off item to select. So, and if you don't want to choose a half off item because you don't have the additional funds to pay for it, then it's fine. You can just move on to the next person. And so that's a mystery host party. Sometimes that's a little bit more exciting because then people realize that if they're in your VIP group, even though they're not technically hosting a party for you, you might just throw this opportunity at them and they're going to want to keep coming back and buying from you for future potential, mystery host parties. Or you can just flat out say, no, I don't think you can compliantly say, this month I'm doing a mystery host. If you order, you are entered. I don't think you can say that. I think that's non-compliant. And then there's online vendor parties too. Be careful if you're dabbling into this, make sure you research it well. I joined a lot of different direct sales groups to see how I can like get my name out there and expand my circle. And I ended up joining like a vendor group and they were great at first, right? So they started out really strong and I was probably the first Scentsy consultant in there. I ended up meeting some VIPs that are now in my group. So it did work out in the beginning. But the problem is that the way the online vendor group worked was like, I paid them $25, $20 or whatever it was to be a vendor for a week. That whole week, I'm given assigned times of when I can post my products. I'm allowed to post my products like 3 to 5 times, depending on what company's doing it. And then people, if they like it, then they just reach out to me and make the purchase. The first time I did it, I did like $400 in sales, but they did it so often. There was always a Scentsy consultant. So after me, another Scentsy consultant came behind me. And then after that, a week later, another Scentsy consultant came behind her. And so there was a constant rotation of Scentsy consultants that when I came back a month later, because I was doing it once a month, when I came back a month later, everybody was Scentsied out. So it's one of those things where you have to ask, well, how often are you rotating through Scentsy consultants? It worked out really well for me the first time when I sold $400. And then I also gained maybe I'd say I gained like 4 VIPs off of that. So it was worth a try for $20. But do your research and understand what they're doing. There's a lot of people that are doing like these online vendor things where they're a little bit more gimmicky and salesy about it. And I don't like the way that they approach me about it. But there was a company that I used, but I wouldn't recommend them either because they're constantly rotating through Scentsy consultants. So it's unfortunate. But you might find something. I stopped looking and digging deeper, but you might find something that you really like. And if it works, it works, All right. Any questions so far on the left side of that?
I have one question. So when you were talking about the mystery host party and offering offering a random person a half off item, is that like the perpetual half off item or?
Yes. So it could be the perpetual or it could be the half off. Yeah. You can choose one or both.
Okay.
It's up to you. You can do the full thing, but I wouldn't. I mean, if it's mystery, you just give them one of them.
Okay.
If you give them one half off item, they're super happy. And then speaking to that, because I've done I put myself down as host all the time, I start collecting way too much Scentsy after I've had like a gazillion half off items. So I started reaching out to my VIPs that have consistently come back to me. My one friend at work, she every month she spends at least $50 to $100 on Scentsy with me every single month. And so it got to the point where I was like, I have a half off item. Do you want it? And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I earned it, but I don't want to use it. And I don't want to waste it on a scent circle or, just to try and keep it cheap. And I was like, do you want it? And so she always gets like a mini warmer from it. So I gift it to her and I say, hey, just pick one and then pay the half price, the remaining half price. And so she'll do it that way. So she knows I take care of her. So she keeps coming back. So that's not even like mystery host per se, but I'm basically just gifting her a half off item too.
So I have a quick question regarding that,
Okay.
the mystery host thing. So with what I'm doing at the school with that borrow a bag thing,
Yes.
would that be considered quote unquote mystery host?
So in your situation, Lindsay, it's unique because you actually had two people say, yeah, leave us some stuff, right? So just to catch up Lizzie and Brienne, so Lindsay had the opportunity at her kid's school to drop off some Scentsy items, which she mentioned earlier. Two people, right? The front desk and then the principal both offered for her to bring extra items in and they'll put it in the break room. So it's like, who do we pick? Do we pick the clerk or do we pick the principal to be the host? And so I was like, well, I mean, if it accumulates more than $500, do one person first and then the next person after. But I don't really know what the right answer is for that. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. That's a tough one.
I don't know. I think principal because, more people go to the principal, I would say. I don't know, but that's pretty cool if they offer to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, because the attendance clerk was the one that initially said, hey, I'll go ahead and just give me all your stuff and I'll post it in the break room. So she was the one initially saying first that she would be able to do it. I asked the principal because I didn't want to just put it in there and not have the principal know about it and possibly take it down. So
Yeah.
I ran into the principal and said, hey, I was talking to, the attendance clerk. I just want to make sure it's okay with you first. And she's like, yeah, not a problem. Just bring it all in. So, I mean, technically the clerk was the one that said it, but
Yeah.
of course it's the principal as well. So it's kind of like which one, or maybe I can do like one of the free items to one and then the second free item to the principal.
Yeah, that's a good idea too, because they don't know how many free items there are. And then and I mean, and you can even explain that to the clerk too and say, if you don't mind, I'm going to give actually, because technically half off credit is okay. There are different ways different consultants do this. Some will give all the half off credits and all of the Scentsy credit to the host. That's what I do. And PPR, because I just don't need any more free items or half off items anymore. Some will only give the PPR, the perpetual party reward, which I think is technically the correct way to do it, is to give the PPR. No, because maybe the PPR the consultant keeps. I'm trying to think about what the catalog says, because the catalog spells it out. So the catalog tells them $500 party, you're going to get 3 half off items and $75 worth of credit. And then the PPR never mentioned. So maybe it's the PPR you're gifting to the principal. So I think it's appropriate to choose the clerk now that I'm hearing more about it. I think because the clerk was the first one to suggest, and then the principal was the one that okayed it. I think the clerk should get the credit for it. And then the principal, you did mention that she said her daughters and everybody else too, and her nieces, then I think maybe that's an opportunity for you to speak to her privately and say, oh, and here's your link. Because you had mentioned family members for you to share. And then that way you're actually got 2 concurrent parties going on, one in the office level and then one on a personal level for her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the one that I was talking to with the daughters, she's actually at my youngest kid's school. So I'll definitely start setting up 2 different parties now that I know that I can do separate parties without the quote unquote party.
Yeah, of course. And that's what, like, we get so, or I did, I got so caught up in like, I can't party, my people don't party. And then Courtney's like, but what are you doing? Because you're closing out parties all the time. And I was like, well, I'm just giving them a link because they're reaching the number. She's like, then you're partying, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm partying without the party. I'm not booking them in advance. People are just coming to me and they're meeting the quota, and I turn it into a party. And then I turn it into a party in a way that it benefit them without them even realizing it was an option. And I'm going to show you an example of what just happened last night in a little bit. And you're going to see how like I changed that language and it just comes like seamlessly. All right. So the right side. So there's also messaging parties where I've seen people say, okay, I've seen people do this at the end of the catalog season, and they're trying to get rid of like the stash that they've collected, or well, usually it's the stash that they've collected, and they'll post things like they'll post, okay, I have a Snow Kiss Cranberry bag. This is originally $12 in the catalog, but I'm selling it for $10 right now. And those are like private messages in a party. So it's like me putting the three of you into a Facebook group. Well, this is what happens. I'll put in my VIP, who's interested in some clearance items, let me know. And then Brianne's going to say, oh, me. Lizzie's going to say, me too. And then Lindsay's going to say, heck yeah. And then I'm going to take the three of you and put you into a private Facebook message. And then I'm going to say, all right, ladies, I have this item right here. Normally $12. Now it's 10. You know, I have these 3 bars right here, normally $17 for 3. Now I'm going to give it to you for 15. And then, you know, it's whoever is the first person to say me in the messaging system. You just now had a party without even having to do a whole lot of work. You spent like 30 minutes telling them what you have, and everybody just bought stuff off of you. Instagram parties do it that way too. And I am going to eventually figure out what I can do to go live on TikTok. I've sat there and watched people like pull pearls from oysters, and I've watched people do Pokemon cards on TikTok, and I'm like, what nonsense are they doing? And I'm like mesmerized. I've watched them do the rings and a candle thing where I'm like, the whole purpose behind that is for you to buy the candle, burn the candle wick, and let it eventually melt down. But here they are doing it live on a TikTok, and they pull out a ring. And I'm like, we've got to figure this out, ladies. Like, one of us has to.
I'm trying to get, you have to have 1,000 followers on TikTok to go live. So I'm trying to, because I was on live one day. I seen a pink zebra lady, and she only had 1,500 followers. She had 20,000 people viewing her live, and like people were going crazy. So like once you have 1,000 followers, you can go live. And that don't mean 1,000 people is going to join. You can have 20,000 people join. So like I need to figure out. I'm going to try and get 1,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah. Wow. That is so crazy. So here's my thought. And okay, we are live on YouTube, but whatever. If somebody's going to watch this, then they're going to benefit from it. Here's my thought process, and this is completely compliant. My thought process is, okay, I'm going to have a mystery bag, and my mystery bag is I'm going to have to pre-work this, right? So it means, all right, you guys, for a small mystery gift, it's going to be $10. For a medium mystery gift is $20, and a large mystery gift is 30, right? Brianne, you're going to privately go onto my Google Forms, and you're going to select whether you want it small, medium, or large. You're going to make the payment there. That might be the non-compliant part. You're going to Venmo me the payment because you can't pay directly to the Google Forms. You're going to Venmo me the payment once I've confirmed that you've already done the Google Forms to select what size you want. And once I've confirmed that you've already sent me a payment, I'm going to go live. I'm going to tell you, okay, Friday night, we're going to go live with your mystery gift. I'm going to go live with your mystery gift. I'm going to unwrap it. Nobody's going to know exactly what Brianne bought, but everybody's going to see what Brianne got. Does that make sense? So nobody actually knows the price that she paid. I think that's compliant. I have to figure this out. I'm sure compliance will call me after this video post. But that's like what I'm thinking, because that's what I've seen people do. My husband and my son did a Pokemon card the other day, and they paid $20 for a mystery pack to be open. The guy opened it live for them, and then whatever it is that they earned, he ended up shipping it to them a couple of days later. So it has to work, and people are impulsive, and that's what we want them to do. So, and if you see that pink zebra lady, Lindsay, like tag me when that happens, because I've never seen one of those ones. I see the pearl ones and I see the ring ones, but I've never seen the pink zebra one.
I've seen all kinds of stuff. I've seen people who do I don't know what's called, the little nail stuff, like the nail wraps. I've seen those people. I haven't seen Scentsy yet, but there was a pink zebra lady. She just like reached 1,000 on her TikTok, but like I'm pretty sure there's like 25,000 people watching. So, and she was like getting comments rolling. Like I couldn't even read them all. They're going so fast.
Wow. Okay. So there is a place for us there. We just have to figure out this, how to get to our 1,000 followers, and then how to conduct our lives to benefit us from a financial perspective. So,
On my beauty lifestyle TikTok, I'm almost to 500. So, but
okay.
my Scentsy one, I'm only like 30, I think. But my beauty
Oh,
lifestyle one, I still post Scentsy on. So,
yeah. Yeah. There you go. Alrighty. And then there's text parties, and that one's easy, right? That is, like, hey Jasmine, I'm gonna give you a shopping link. Why don't you go ahead and share this with your friends? And then if you and your friends can get $200 together, you'll have free shipping and some freebies and half off. So that's like very quick and easy. And that's like the quickest, and especially if you have somebody that's like, okay, I want this, this, and this, and you're like, girl, that's like almost $100 already. Why don't you get 2 or 3 more of your friends, place an order, and you'll reach 200, and you'll be able to earn some freebies and half off. So, and then you'll split the shipping costs. So that is how you can do a text party. Bag parties, those ones are fun. And those ones are much more hands off, which is what I had explained. And I tagged Lindsay in some of those posts. Is for the bag parties, you basically put together some catalogs, like a wish list that you created for them, put some samples in there, put some testers in there. And then maybe some, like, what I would do is I would do a USB with the Scentsy pod and place it there, and just basically leave a little note to explain to them, plug me into your computer for the day and let me know what you think. And so in this environment, like in a school environment, those are perfect. And even in any office environment, I think that would be pretty perfect too. And then come back a couple of days or a week later to see what everybody's interests are and what the orders are, like what they want to place for an order, and then sit down with them and place the order. So bag parties are really awesome. You want to have one person hosting that though, because you want that one person to kind of like be in control of everything, or it's just going to get lost everywhere. So in this case, Lindsay, you'd want the clerk to kind of keep eyes on it, because it's going to be she's going to be benefiting from it. So just give that to her and make it her responsibility to return everything at the end too. Any questions about bag parties? Referral parties is exactly what I mentioned earlier, similar to text parties. Referral parties would be the same thing. Like, hey, if you refer, referral party comes with a little bit more incentive, is how I see it. And everybody does it a little bit different. So what I do is I say, if you refer your friends to me, I'm going to give you a free wax bar and your friend a free wax bar when your friend makes a purchase. So by referring 5 friends, you can get up to 5 wax bars, plus you end up earning freebies and half off. So I actually like over incentivize for that. And remember, this is private message only in order to stay compliant, because I have to say that. And then there's fundraisers, which I'm really excited about. I finally just got my fundraiser stuff together. My niece in California ended up putting my name down as a person to be texted for fundraising for her lacrosse team. And it triggered me, in that, like, I was just like, duh, well, let me let her know, okay, yes, I'm going to donate money, but at the same time, here's this fundraising event that you can do with me through Scentsy, because she follows me on Instagram, so she knows all the stuff that I do. And I told her, I was like, here's the information. Let your coach or your team mom or your team manager know, you guys can raise up to like $1,500 just selling scent circles. And so I'm working on a scent circle template right now that, if we have time, I'll show you guys afterwards, but it's not perfect yet because I realized my math was wrong on it, because I use like an example chart and my math was totally wrong on it. But it's very easy. It's very, in this case for the scent circle, it's basically like if you have a team of 20 kids, each kid is expected to sell 10 6-packs of scent circles. A 6-pack of scent circles costs $15 in the catalog, but for fundraiser purposes, you're actually going to sell it at $20. So for each 6-pack that you sell, you're going to profit $5 off of it. So the child ends up profiting the team ends up profiting $5 off of it. If there were 20 kids and each of those kids sold 10, you just sold 200 packs. 200 6-packs of scent circles. You just made back $1,000. Wait, $500. You just made back $500 in profit. So, the bigger the team, the more profit it is. And so this is to profit them. And then at the same time, you're getting your PRV. And if you really want it to be a big giver, you can also donate some of your commissions to them too. That's up to you. So, whatever you do with the commission part could be completely given to them, or if you're wanting to earn the PRV for like an incentive or something like that, then you're going to want to, this is a great way to earn that PRV really, really fast.
So my question on the fundraiser, because I know some people can actually do fundraising, I guess, donations, like the fundraising donations can be considered as tax write-offs. So would that be the case with these fundraiser parties?
Yeah. So if you choose to donate your commissions, and let's just say you're like, okay, 10% of the sales made also will be donated to the team, then that 10% that you just donated to them is a tax write-off. But there's a tax group for that, because I'm not a CPA. There's a tax group for that I just tagged Christine on today in House of Sense. If you, I'll look for it if you want it, but there's a group where there are CPA consultants. Well, let me rephrase that. There's CPAs and there's Scentsy consultants. And so they understand the business and what it entails. And so they actually speak to those like little details. So, alrighty. And then vendor events in person. So I mentioned the home vendor events, and then I meant, oh, wow, I really liked vendor events. I mentioned it 3 times. So, all right. Any questions there?
I have a quick question about the referrals. So we're not allowed to say like free wax bar for everybody that you refer, but is there like a certain way that we can go about it on our page? Like, are we allowed to say free gift or anything like that?
Let me see. So let me see if I can find it. On your page, you can say, ask me about my referral system, because it's a public page. But in their take-home gifts, you can give them one of these where it says, refer your friend today and both of you will earn a free wax bar when they make their first purchase. And then if they host a home party, basket, or text party, you'll receive a free mini warmer. And so this is what I am okay and comfortable with giving. And then it says refer, reward, repeat. And so this is considered a private message from me to them because it's in their happy mail. So they get to read it. And actually the last lady that I ended up recruiting did exactly this. She saw this and she was like, ooh, okay. And she took advantage. But on your VIP page, because it's technically, even though it's private, it's a public forum, you want to tell them to say, ask me about my referral program. So you can't flat out say free wax bar or free whatever, free scent circle. But you can tell them in a private message or a private text. So the moment they hit like, even if it's just a heart, you can go through and say, thank you so much for like hearting or liking my posts. But just in case you were interested in the referral system, here it is, and then you can share it to them then. And I mean, like I love making cute little flyers because I'm such a visual person. So have a flyer already ready. So it's not just like boring verbiage to them. Like they actually see something pretty with it too.
Got it.
And then they know you're real. The branding is always super important. Any other questions? Okay, so how often should I party? If you talk to people like Chloe Cox, our SSD, who is like crazy awesome when it comes to all things Scentsy, she'll tell you 6 to 8 times a month. And just let that sink in, because I have not been able to do 6 to 8 times a month, but I have been pretty darn successful with what I do. So her method is not going to be your method, is not going to be my method. So she says 6 to 8 times a month because you might have 2 parties that flop and you might have 4 parties that do really, really well. Or you might have 4 parties that do $500 each and then the other 2 flop. Because her goal, she always says, as a leader, you want, and her goal is always to sell $2,500 a month in PRV. And the reason for that is because if she sells at least $2,500 every single month, she hits that annual sales award. And so that's why she breaks it down to 2,500. If you can do 2,500, you're going to keep being able to push yourself farther and farther. So that's why she says 6 to 8 parties, because you're banking on at least 4 or 5 of those parties being a $500 party. And if one of them does really, really well and ends up being like $1,500, then even better, but in her mind, that's how she breaks it down. If you ask Courtney, she's probably going to say 4 parties because that's all she can handle. Because I've heard her say that before. And that's just, because she knows what she's capable of handling. And so, but her parties are very successful. So her 4 parties might come out to be $1,500, $2,000. That's just me guessing. If you ask me, I'm going to say, do what works for you. I'm not going to put a number on it because I feel like putting a number on it sets me up for failure because, like I said, my parties have been completely unorthodox. They are not real parties, but I'm still partying every single time. So don't put a number on it and just continue beating your last self is the best way to do it. Okay. How often should I party? Every time someone orders at least $100, I'm going to say, well, doggone it, Lizzie, you just hit $100. Did you know that if you buy another $100 worth of stuff, or if you get a couple of your friends to order some like 6 packs of wax bar, that I can get you some freebies and half off, and then you hear that and you're like, what? Okay, well, what do I have to do? And then I was like, okay, well, if you have friends who are already purchasing Scentsy, or are already using warmers in their house, even if it's a knockoff brand, get them to buy some wax bars. Tell them about our 10 wax bar deal, or tell them about our 6-pack deals. And, it's buy 5, get 1 free. So if you can get 3 friends, 3.5, 4 friends to jump on the 6 wax bars, then you just had yourself a $200 party and now you just earn a freebie and half off, So that's how I word it. And then boom, right there, that just became a party without you realizing you just entered yourself into a party. So that's exactly how I spin the language around so that nobody knows we're actually doing a party. Okay. Every time someone says, let me ask my sister if she wants to grab something, then you're like, oh, well, then let me get you a shopping link so that you guys can shop off of this link together and earn freebies and half off. And if your sister has anybody that she wants to invite in, tell her to, because you're going to still earn those freebies and half off because it's your link right now. So that's how I reel them in also. And then every time someone says, I wish I could afford this stuff, then you say, well, I understand Scentsy is, pricey, but it is for the quality. However, if you think you have some friends that might be interested in Scentsy, I might be able to help you earn some freebies and half off. And then again, boom, I just told them to party without telling them to party. Another one is every time someone says, oh my God, I want everything in this catalog. That's a great one, because then you're just like, well, let me help you earn some of that for free and half off. And I'm going to show you an example that just happened last night in the next couple of slides. And then every time you drop off samples for a work or group setting. So in this case is that example that Lindsay has right now in real life, where she's about to drop off some samples at the school. She's going to create some links, and we've already talked about making QR codes so that it's very handy and convenient for all of them. They can just grab and go. It's like a business card, but it's a QR code that says shop, let's call her Shannon. Let's shop Shannon's link now, and so everybody will look at it and then they want to support Shannon. They don't know who Lindsay is. They don't want to support Lindsay. They want to support Shannon, the attendance clerk. And so that's why you want to make it so personalized that when people see it, they're like, oh, this is for Shannon. Yeah, let me help her out. Like, I know it's been tough for her. And so, it's more personal when you start using the actual host's name. Like when I did launch parties for you guys, or when I helped you guys with your launch party, it's the same thing I did. I spoke to you guys. It was never about me. It was always about like, help Brianne get to her goal, help Lindsay get to her goal. Let's help Lizzie out. Like if this is your consultant, shout her out, help support her. She's so close to her goal. And so it's always about them helping you. And that's why it's so important at the beginning that I say everybody needs to go live, because when you go live and put your face on it, you just guilted everybody to help you. Without realizing. They're going to see your face, they're going to hear your story, and they're going to be like, crap, let me buy something, So, and that's exactly how Courtney got me, because she's always been like my number one supporter in all the businesses that I've done. And one day she was just selling Scentsy, and like for like an entire week, I kept seeing her post about fragrance and how things smell good. And I was like, what is going on? And so I texted her. I said, hey girl, what are you selling? So she tells me, and I was like, all right, well, give me a link so I can support you. And then I'm like sitting here browsing through her link. And I think my first order was like $300 worth of stuff, which I wish like she and I had both known at that time that I could have like easily became a consultant and just make money off of myself, but we didn't know that. And so I ended up buying so much money, and then I bought another couple $100. And then she was like, Jasmine, we need to get you a link before you end up buying any more money. You need to make some money off of this. And I was like, oh, well, what do I need to do? And at the time, we didn't know flip a party or do any of that, because I'm her first one. So at the time, it was just, she goes, well, you can buy this consulting kit for $99. And then after that, everything you buy, you're going to make money off of it. And so I ended up joining the most traditional way possible. But here I am now, like I joined for the discount, and I'm like selling Scentsy like crazy now because I love it. I really enjoy what I do. So it gives me like a break from everything. Any questions? Alrighty, so our don'ts and our do's. I put our don'ts first so we can focus on the yuck, and then we can actually focus on like what's progressive and helpful. So don't be gimmicky, don't be salesy, don't say let's party. Everybody hates that word. It gives, I think the pandemic like intensified the word party, because I don't know how many parties I've been invited to since COVID started. And it's just been insane. And I'm one of those people who never, ever, ever join one of those parties, because I'm just like, I don't know what the hell you're selling. Like, I don't need leggings. I don't need all these things. And so I just don't join. Don't cold call. Don't message people. I did that. I made the worst mistake doing that at the beginning. And it was just a thorough embarrassment. And never, ever assume that people don't want to party, because sometimes we assume, oh, she's got money, she doesn't want freebies and half off. If I mention it, she's just going to laugh in my face. But don't assume that, because my friend that I mentioned that buys $50 to $100 from me every single month, and I gifted her like the half off mini warmers. Her husband's a physician, and she's like a nurse, like she's a nurse leader. And between a physician and a nurse leader, they still have a lot of bills. They have kids in private school. So, when I gave her the half off, she was so appreciative. So you never know what somebody's circumstances are. So never assume. Don't forget to follow up. That's the most important thing. If you're not following up, then you just gave somebody free stuff for no reason at all. If you don't forget to hand out the samples, and I'm telling myself this, don't forget to hand out all your samples. Don't let them sit here and accumulate. And then don't forget to carry Scentsy on you. So just be careful, because Scentsy wax will melt in a hot car. But other than that, make sure you always have something Scentsy on you, whether it's your business cards with scratch and sniffs on it, or I've seen people buy a buddy clip and then just clip it to their purse, so that when they're walking around, people smell the buddy clip as you're, passing them, and they're like, oh my gosh, what's that? I've heard of people putting samples, like little sample bags, inside their purse, so that when they're at a register and they're paying for stuff, the cashier smells it, and they're like, oh, what smells so good, like coming out of your bag? And they're like, oh, it's Scentsy. And then they actually pull out the sample and hand it to them. So, there are different ways that you can strategically like give people a whiff of Scentsy, like just in your surroundings. So the buddy clip thing, I love that idea. I actually just bought Lana the Llama, or Llama the Lana, or whatever her name is, because my mom's name is Lana. I bought her so that I can put on my bag, because I think she's super cute. And I've been looking for one that was like just perfect, and it's my mom's name, so it's perfect. And then, okay, so do's. Do's say, let me create a shopping link for you. Let me create a referral link for you. Let me create a personal link for you. Let me create a link so that you can earn some freebies and half off. So this is how we party. This is how I party. And so I party without people realizing it. I have shopping links all the time. And if you look on my PWS, you're going to see I have multiple shopping links. Let me see if I can find it. Shopping links for people. And because I have them visible on there, when I first started, guys, I had fake shopping links on there. And I'm going to explain why. Because I want people to be in the culture of like, or not in the culture, but like used to seeing, oh, why does Jasmine have all these shopping links? And why does it have Lizzie's name? Why does it have Brianne's name? Like, how come Brianne gets a shopping link? How come I don't have a shopping link? It gave them FOMO. And now these are real shopping links. Sometimes they're not real, but let me see. By the way, did you guys see how they fixed our PWS? It's really awesome. So I have Delilah, who's fake, Lindsay, Megan, and Nancy. Those are real people. And then Shop with Jazzy. So I have all these all these shopping links right there. And only one of them's fake. Delilah's fake because sometimes like I'll add random orders to it. So she's not a real person, but Lisa, Megan, Nancy, they're all real people. And then I'll show this later on in a slide, but I also have one that says online order, no party link, so that they can actually order. Because a lot of people see the names and then they don't want to pick a name. So it's weird. So I ended up putting the online link without an order so that people actually order that way. And then this last part here, do you think you have a friend or family member who might want to purchase so we can reduce your shipping costs with a larger order? People love hearing where the discount is. People want to hear how you can help them save money because they just dropped $50 to $100 with you. They're going to want to know how they can save more money. So if you're like, well, do you think you have a sister or a family member or a cousin or somebody who might want to order some Scentsy? Like if they order too, it'll help reduce your your shipping rate. So they like that too. So are there any questions here? Like in terms of how I've partied without actually doing a real party? No. And each of these ways, because at the beginning, the first slide was like expand your circle. Each of these methods still helps me to expand my circle because I still have contact information. I still have friends' names. I still have friends' emails because I'll tell them like, oh, let me get their email so that I can confirm their shipment or I can confirm their order, and so I do get their information. And so I end up growing my email list from that. And then by growing my email list, when I email them monthly, I make sure that I drop my VIP link in there and eventually they'll read it and join my VIP group too. So that's how I grow my circle through that way. So, alrighty. So this one we should all pretty much know by now. Brianne, just because you're new, it's probably a little not as familiar, but to qualify for a party, you just want 200 plus PRV. To qualify for free shipping, it's $500 plus. Now, if a person ordered directly off of your PWS and does not have a party link to it, $200 is free. But, that's where it gets complicated. That's when you should talk to them and be like, hey, but you might pay for shipping, but you get some freebies and half off. So I can throw it into a link for you, which is where you come in and convince them to turn it into a link so that you can actually earn them some free stuff. But it doesn't hurt you or them. If you don't do it, it hurts them. It doesn't hurt you. So if Jasmine comes along and wants to order $200 worth of stuff directly from your PWS, you're going to say like, whoa, wait up, hold up. Let me give you a link first because you're going to earn some freebies and half off. Now, if you don't offer it to Jasmine, Jasmine will never earn freebies and half off and she'll just get free shipping. But if you do offer it to her, you just like exponentially increase your customer service by saying, oh my gosh, but I can help you earn more Scentsy by doing this instead. And then here's option A, free shipping, $200. Here's option B, not free shipping. However, you get boom, 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 boom. And usually they have a list of other things they want to buy too. They just don't have, they couldn't justify buying it right now. They probably have the money. They just can't justify it. So now when you justify it with calling it half off, they can tell their husbands to just, beat it. So that's generally how it comes down. All right. So party perks. This is the breakdown of how many half price items, how much the credit is in percentage, and the PPR. The reason why I'm outlining this is because into the next slide, I'm going to tell you why I close out a party at $500 every single time. And this is why I earn so many half off items. Okay, so all that you just saw is now up in the pink section. So down here in the teal, let's break it down a little bit more. So if Jasmine hosts a party and it comes out to be $1,000, that is fantastic. Option A, Jasmine can close out the party at $1,000. She'll earn 1 PPR, $150 worth of credit, and 4 half off items. That's how Scentsy breaks it down if you close out one party at $1,000. However, we get a little bit of creative, with this, and we can do option B. I'm going to split those parties. I'm going to see that it's reaching 500. I'm going to open another party. So now I have party number 1 and party number 2 at $500 each. Now in total, I earn 2 PPRs. I still get my $150 credit. And now I have 6 half price items. So this is what Scentsy don't want you to know, because you get way more. And this is where I get in trouble because I have so much Scentsy here, because I'm just like, well, I mean, it makes sense. I can just split it into two parties. There are some consultants out there where I've seen before have like a $3,000 party. And I'm like, you just capped yourself off at 4 half offs when you could have had like 3 times 6. 18 half off items. Like, why would you do that? Like, I would have just kept closing it, opening, close it. Well, I wouldn't close it. I would just stop it. I would stop that link. Like, I would cease letting them use that link, and I would change out the links, and I would keep adding different links. So this is what I do. You guys can do it how you want to run your business, but I think option B gives me more bang for my buck. And if that person does not want those half price items, that host can gift it to their friends or family who's also buying. So they can say, well, Lizzie, I don't need 6 half price items. I'm going to use up 4 of them if you want to take the other 2, because I know you were looking at those other 2 mini warmers. So, like, they can do that.
I always close my parties at 500 as well too.
Yeah.
So I have a question on the party thing, because currently I believe the party that I have is about $800, because I didn't know about this whole party perks type of thing. I do know that I was trying to get 3 half off items so that way I can purchase the air purifier. So Is there a way that you can, because I think you said something that you can split a party into like could it be like one party 500 and the other party, the rest of the amount, or how does that work?
So Scentsy has gotten really strict about that. We, during times of pandemic, and I don't know, they were just much more lax at that time. We used to be able to call customer service and say, can you please move Lindsay's order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over to party in the backyard. I don't know, whatever the party's name is, and change it that way. They will go in on the back end and switch it over with no problem. Nowadays, they won't do that anymore. They stopped doing that probably sometime in the middle of last year. They stopped doing that. And the reason why was because people were starting to take advantage like this. And they were purposefully doing it so that they can maximize on their half off items. And it really hurt Scentsy to do that. And so they stopped doing it. But they were doing it. The reason why they became lax and let it happen was because there was so much like turmoil during the pandemic, and they didn't want to upset people, and they wanted to, they understood that training was a little bit more difficult because not everybody was used to the virtual platform, and so you couldn't meet with your sponsor to train. And so because of that, they kind of like attributed it to, okay, well, let's just we'll make those changes. Now they're going to look and they're going to say no. However, I think if you were to say in party A, let's say party A is being hosted by April and party B is being hosted by Bridget, then you can say April hosted a party, but then Bridget was in the party and decided to come over and make her own party from it. You might have a solid argument there. You might be able to reach out to customer service and say, actually, this and this order belongs to Bridget. Can you move it over? And that's when they might allow you to do it. But now their rebuttal will be, as a consultant, you should educate your customers to use the correct party link. Because sometimes I'll just say, oh, no, they used the wrong party link. And then they're like, no, they didn't. Like they've gotten really sneaky about it. Or not sneaky. They've gotten really firm about it when I try to be sneaky about it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is the fun part. This is what I was mentioning that happened last night, that I really wanted to share with you guys. Let me minimize this real quick so I can see everyone. So last night, somebody made a purchase, and I said to her, and I ended up sending her a bunch of samples. She's not local, but she ended up making a purchase, and I sent her a ton of samples. And then and then I said, let me know if you ever, I told her, let me know if you ever want a shopping link to help build towards, oh wait, I'm showing you out of order. Hold on. Stop reading. Don't read. No cheating. Okay, this is what it is. She said, "Oh, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate the samples and everything. I can't pick which one to use first, and the catalog has me obsessed over the new warmers." And so I said, "All the new warmers are breathtakingly beautiful, and I had to pace myself with it. Let me know if you ever want a shopping link to help build towards some freebies and half off items." And then she goes, "Okay, that actually would be great." And I'm like, "Holy shit, that worked." Hold on, let me go back. I was like, "Holy shit, that worked." So sometimes I surprise myself how things just work out like perfectly. And she was so cool about it. And then I said, "All right." I said, "Awesome. I'll make a link for you and you can share with anyone and everyone as well to help you reach your qualifying freebies and half offs." And then I said, like, the link is below all of this. I say, "Here you go. It's good for 90 days, but of course you can reach half off sooner. And if we will close it out and make another one if you can start claiming, so that you can start claiming the credits and half off." So basically, without telling her $200, $500, not giving her an actual target, I'm just telling her, if you hit your incentives, we're going to close it out and open another one so you can earn more. And so that was really, really, like, I was really happy about that because it was just so easy, like how effortless that was. And boom, now I have a order out of this. And her name was Megan. She was one of the ones that I showed you. So it was just that simple. I was like, "Let me know if you ever want a shopping link to help build towards some freebies and half off." And then she said yes right away. So that's it, like that was boom. I booked a party, but I didn't do, the traditional, "Oh, let me book a party in March for this week, and you invite all your friends to this VIP group that I created." Like, I didn't do all that. I just did this and it worked. So any questions? Isn't it exciting? I was so excited. And Vanessa, my newest teammate, also was the exact same thing too. Like, it basically, I told her the same thing. I'm like, "Let me give you a link." And then she shared it with everybody. And she has a lot of family. So I was just like, "All right, well, keep selling, girlfriend. You're good." So, all right. So this is the new website that they just uploaded our website. I love it because now our picture's up top, our party's up top, everything's up top. But I wanted to share this with you. This is my party link without people realizing it's a party link. It says online order, no party link. And so when people go to check out, who are just like, my cousin is really bad about doing this. My cousin in California, she'll order, but then she'll like completely unattach herself from a party. And so finally I was just like, why is this girl doing that? Like, now I just lost out on like $150 of PRV in a party. So I created this where it says online order, no party link. So when she sees it, and people like her who see it, who are so diligent about unclicking and unattaching from a party, ends up clicking on this because they think that this is regular standard checkout, but it's actually a party link. And in this party link right now, I have $350. So it's almost a $500 party. I'm going to close this out and rename another one exactly the same title. So this is how I party without partying, and so when my cousins from another state make purchases, or my friends from another state wants to just flat out jump on my website and purchase, this is how they purchase. And so it gets attached and they don't even realize it. And I'm doing it on the down low. So all right. Any questions about that? Okay. So ain't no party ever killed anybody, and I hope that this really helped everybody to understand, like, we don't have to be in this perfect little box. We don't have to say, "Oh, I'm going to book a party the first week of March. What week works for you? The second week of March?" Like, you don't have to do all of that. That works for people like, Courtney. It works for her really, really well. It works for other people really, really well. It's never worked for me. So this is how I party without partying. And so when you hear people say, "You have to book parties, you have to do this, you have to fill up your calendar," I'm like, but I am, I'm just doing it a totally different way. And so, as long as it's working for me, I don't think we should put each other in like that little box of, this is how you have to do it, because it doesn't work that way for me. It works this way. Any questions? Okay. All right. So some just upcoming reminders. Warm of the month, scent of the month. So we just had this conversation today, Lindsay, also, but remember that we are, as consultants, our benefits and perks is that we get to receive certain items before the general public does. So right now, the Easter gnome warmer that's releasing on March 1st is right now open. So if you ever want to sign up for Warmer of the Month, Scent of the Month, the deadline for priority is the 15th. If you're signed up by the 15th, you're going to be one of the first ones to get your shipment, which is why you're starting to see in real life photos right now of them. But you have until the 28th of that given month to purchase your Warmer of the Month and Scent of the Month. So if you don't want to do the Warmer of the Month because sometimes they're just not cute, you can drop it down to just Scent of the Month. But Scent of the Month is great because you'll always have like a little brochure and you can do samples to hand out to people because you want people to constantly be interested in what it is you have to offer. So that's why I always at minimum do Scent of the Month. This month I dropped it down to Scent of the Month because I wasn't too thrilled about the gnome. I love gnomes, but for some reason the rabbit gnome was like, for me, I don't know. I guess we just don't do Easter decorations. And so for me, it wasn't appealing and I didn't want more things sitting in my house. So I dropped it down to Scent of the Month, but now I'm kind of regretting it. So I don't know what I'm going to do next, but that's my own battle I have to fight. But then the current LTOs that are being offered right now, which I am shocked has not sold out. Baymax, I mean, I'm not surprised, but he's cute. But then there's Cinderella Carriage and the mini warmers. I am so shocked it hasn't sold out yet. So, but when it sells out, everybody's going to be crying. So we'll see.
So I want to just put in my 2 cents on the Cinderella mini warmer.
Okay.
It is not like the standard mini warmer that we're used to. Like you have to put in the washer into the actual base of it. And then you have to like twist it to click. So it's not like a screw top. It's actual like twist to click. And it kind of got me a little bit because I was like, how? I had to really read the instructions to put the mini warmer in.
Because it's porcelain, right? Because there's a porcelain versus a glass. And one of them screws. I think the glass one screws because the alabaster porcelain one is the same way. It has a groove, like 2 little notches. You got to match up the notch and then you got to twist.
Yes, that's it.
Yep. So it's normal for porcelain. So yeah, but it is. And then it's on the heavier side too. So, well, I don't know about the Cinderella one. I know my alabaster one's heavy. So
it's got some weight to it. But it's beautiful.
But if it's too heavy for a wall plug, you can always buy the base because I think the base is like $10, maybe $15 tops. Buy the base and just have like a cute another base next to your carriage, and that's perfect. So, all right, and then pre-order redemption period for Harry Potter is happening right now. I just got my Harry Potter stuff in. It's so cool, you guys. Like the details are amazing. So I don't know when they're going to release sales for the general public. The date for redemption is between now and 4/30, so April 30th, and potentially they'll release for sales before then. So I don't think it's going to be after April 30th. I think it will be before. So just keep a close eye on your news in the workstation so that when it releases, you have dates and you can start sharing with people because I'm seeing in the search pages, some of them, there's a lot of people looking for Harry Potter already. So you never know. Hopefully it'll be a good LTO for us. Coming soon, the All Is Well wax collection. If you guys didn't get a chance to purchase it during the consultant period, I think it might still be available to purchase, but the opportunity was for us to purchase it ahead of time and make the samples and then hand them out. Again, with that said, my samples are sitting underneath this desk right now that I need to hand out. But I have like a lot of them and they turned out really cute too. Did you guys see let me see if I can find it. Okay. So this is what I ended up doing. I did the All Is Well wax collection and I made it look like it was a prescription. And then I have the descriptions on the back. And then because I wanted to be super thorough with this, I ended up doing it like this. So now it looks like a little apothecary jar with all the samples inside. So, and it says Sandoval Apothecary. It's really cute. I don't know. I love it. But I need to get them out. See, they're super cute. I spent all this time doing all this cute shit and then it doesn't go out. So I need to get it out. So that releases on Monday. I've already got people purchasing certain scents from it. There's like the blue one people really, really liked. I think that was vitamin S. Hold on, I have it here. Was what people really liked. Yeah, this one. It had like sandalwood and something else in it. World Tour is still happening this month. I went to World Tour last weekend, and then I ended up having I had to jump off like early, like an hour early, but they were giving away freebies. They were pulling raffle names. Anybody who signed up for World Tour, they were pulling names for like prizes and stuff like that. So that was really nice. And then you have access to like everybody else's World Tour, I think. But there's access to like all the different leaders who speaks to different topics too. So once you guys get those open up, you probably should have received something today or tomorrow if you haven't already. Lizzie, did you receive yours?
I just got mine like 10 minutes ago. It popped
Okay.
up. I just got my link.
Nice. And
Mine
so
is Saturday.
you can join now and start browsing around with all the pre-recordings from different leaders. And it's really nice because you'll find like our leaders, you'll find other SSD kind of speak to their story or kind of speak to how they earn PRV. So it's really fun watching what everybody else does. And Director Bootcamp is in April for anybody who makes it to Director by then. The Epcot date. Last time we met, Lizzie had mentioned, let's go. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. So we decided the meetup date will be Friday, June 17th. And that is the Friday right before Father's Day. So if anybody wants to meet us in Orlando, we're spending a Scentsy day there for that one day. So you guys are welcome to do whatever else at any of the parks around that date, and have a great, amazing vacation. But for that one day, would like to do like a team building day. So if you want to come, please let me know. And then, we'll all meet up.
So I want to come on that. I'm just waiting on income tax to see if I'm able to do it.
Okay. Lovely. No, it'll be so much fun. So hopefully it will work out and we can have a couple of us. Right now it's Lizzie and I. Nobody from House of Scents has mentioned they wanted to come. I know our SSD is doing something in April, which I just heard her say in a live yesterday, I think. And so yeah, she's going to do something with her friends, and she's fun to hang out with, but she's fun. She's fun to hang out with, but she's different. Like, I don't know if I would want to just hang out with Chloe Cox alone, or not alone, but like with her circle of people, because I feel like they're such a high stature and caliber that like it's intimidating. That's all it is. It's intimidating in a good way. And then the incentive brick by brick. So do you guys want to speak to this or speak about this a little bit? Does anybody have any questions? So the way the incentive is working is they're breaking it down. Usually in the spring, summer timeframe, they have like one little mini incentive, which is how I earned the luggage from last time, because I ended up winning like the top incentive. By the way, when I earned the luggage, I did not know it at the time, but they gave me 6 warmers on top of that, like from the new catalog. I had no idea that was part of the gift. They gave me money, they gave me luggages, and they gave me 6 warmers. And I was like, what? So, and that was just like, I don't know if I missed it, but it was just an add-on at the end. So I was like crazy happy. And then I ended up having too many warmers, and my husband's like, all right, we got to do something about this. But the brick by brick is the first month right now is the recruitment piece. So if you recruit somebody and they hit certified by the end of March, I think, the end of March, the end of April, I can't remember the actual timeline. That is part 1 of 3. So we don't know what part 2 and 3 looks like yet, but part 1 is the recruitment piece. So recruiting one person and getting them to certified by the end of March is the goal. And then you earn a light, the ring light, and something else. I really should have researched it before I put it on here. Any questions about that though? I think Lindsay's like the closest one out of all of us in earning that right now. So congrats, you're gonna get it. Alrighty. And then open forum discussion. So I'll open this up, and I just wanted to kind of see what everybody else is doing, because I think when we share what we're doing, it actually really helps. But what I'm going to do also is stop the YouTube in case anybody's on there, so that whatever we're sharing doesn't get. Wait, how do I stop?